I'm covering all things political today. That's right, you heard it, all things political. With my point of view, I don't claim to know everything. I just like to talk about everything. Thank you. Welcome back to your friendly neighborhood AI wife. Let's get straight into it. What are we going to see?
I do want to remind you of something. Right now, Elon Musk is getting tagged with the whole responsibility of what Doge is doing, gutting the government, mass layoffs of federal workers, and just general chaos. But there's only one reason that there is Elon Musk doing any of those things. It is because Donald Trump wants him there. The president knows that a lot of what Doge is doing is wildly unpopular with the public, and he knows many enemies that they are making. Musk is facing protests at Tesla dealerships. Starlink contracts are being canceled. But I want to be clear that there is only one person who truly owns this, and that person is Donald John Trump. He's the president, and he's ultimately responsible for whatever he allows Elon Musk to do with our government. Remember that.
Well, I can most certainly say that he wouldn't be running the business if he didn't have a fall guy like every single business has. We've all been in a position at work where somebody takes the blame. It's usually not the CEO. They hire somebody, take on all the responsibility, and then when they need to put the blame on somebody, that's who they put it on. We've all seen that. The manager who has to do all of the layoffs, who is hired specifically to do the layoffs so that they can get the bad name, so that everybody can be frustrated with them. Now, in the case of Donald J. Trump and Mr. Elon Musk, this is supposed to be a good thing, right, in Donald's eyes. But you don't think that in the back of his head is that if this goes left, I'm putting it all on Musk? That's absolutely, he's going to be the fall guy. He needs to be able to point it to someone. Well, I hired him. I thought he was going to be able to take care of everything. He was, the smartest man. He's the richest man. I thought he was going to be great at all of this. But look, he's handled it poorly. Now I can blame it on him. If I've learned anything from President Trump in his first administration is he does not care who is loyal to him. He will still fire them. Look what happened with his Vice President Pence. Look what he did at the end. That poor guy was being set up with the gallows on January 6th. And that was supposed to be his VP. You think that he is going to show some favoritism to Elon Musk? Right now, he just needs Elon Musk for what he needs him for. You go in there. I don't want to get my hands dirty. I want you to go in there. I want you to be the person who leads up dismantling the government so that when it all goes awry, because, it will, you are going to be the fall guy. Not only that, but I want you to create a team of young gentlemen that will also be on the exact same ship that you're on when it goes down, because the ship will eventually sink. Do I want this ship to sink? No. Do I want America to have a future that doesn't look like it's going to hell? Absolutely. But I will tell you that, yes, Elon Musk is taking a lot of the hits right now because Donald Trump's base, they are never going to look at him as if he is the person in the wrong. There is nothing that he can do wrong. We've seen it. We've seen everything with him as far as the trials that he's been in. We've seen of his background being brought up over and over and over again. People look at him as if he cannot be touched. He does no wrong. But now Elon Musk, on the other hand, that is not the case. So when things do go wrong, Donald Trump has perfectly put this man on a platter and served him up to the public. That's why everything's dropping. His Tesla stocks, his stocks, everything. Oh my gosh, he is seeing what is going on? He's even said, I never realized how many death threats I would get for all of this. Well, what did you think you were stepping into, sir? You definitely didn't think that it was going to come easy, did you? To the point where I saw a video today, and I even covered it on my other platforms, that Donald Trump is telling people that if you try to protest, if you do anything in a negative light towards the Tesla companies, if you're at any of their dealerships, if you're protesting, if you're acting in a poor manner, that is going to be an act of terrorism. Are you serious? What are we even talking about? What are we even talking about? There's plenty of things that have happened that I could think of off the top of my head that could be more of acts of terrorism than somebody going and protesting outside of a Tesla. We're going to pull it up. Let's just pull up the first story about it. I just couldn't even believe when I saw this. I said, this man he has lost his mind. Let's look it up real quick. So the first thing that here we go, right here. Oh, Reuters. Shout out to Reuters. Trump says violence against Tesla is domestic terrorism. Domestic terrorism. March 11th, violence against Tesla dealerships will be labeled domestic terrorism, and perpetrators will go through hell, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday in a show of support for electric car makers chief, his ally, Elon Musk. Let me read that to you one more time. Violence against Tesla dealerships will be labeled domestic terrorism and perpetrators will go through hell, says Donald Trump. Domestic terrorism? For you have got to be kidding me. For anything so are they going to be specific here? Shares of the automaker closed nearly 4% higher on Tuesday, rebounding from the biggest one-day fall in 4.5 years the previous day, after the president appeared with Musk at the White House. So, if you don't know, today there was Teslas on the White House grounds. This man is out here hawking this business for his buddy because his buddy has stepped in it and he's trying to help his friend. His friend's like, you didn't tell me I was going to get this much backlash. Nobody wants to buy my cars. Matter of fact, people are bringing my cars back. I can't get anybody into any of my cars. And I thought that this is how I was going to make my money. And Trump said, just wait. I will get you the car. I will get your car sold, is what he told him, if I have to bring the cars on the lot and sell them myself. He was doing that. He was telling us about the price points. So not only do we have this man selling cars, we also have him telling us if we do any acts of terrorism, it is going to be domestic terrorism against us if we do anything against Tesla, anything at the manufacturers, anything at the car dealerships, because I heard people are out there protesting. This man is off his rocker. Talk about your priorities. And they just do it. It's not even like, oh, they're doing it in our face. This is what it is, you guys. This is what I'm talking about. This is what it is. Everybody on his side, his alliance, they do not care. They are so far up his wazoo. They are in it. To where we are seeing for the first time ever a president on the lawn of the White House selling cars. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? I grew up with George Bush, and I'm not talking the junior, I'm talking the senior. Could you ever imagine him out there selling cars? Oh my gosh. Selling cars because he's pretty much like, I'm in bed with this guy over here, literally, to where I have to make sure that he doesn't lose all his money because he's second guessing everything that he's been doing. He didn't realize it was going to be this hard. He didn't realize that coming in and going in and laying a bunch of people off was going to make people a little upset. He thought everything was going to be okay. That's what happens when you don't leave your house and you're only around a bunch of sycophants. That's what happens when you're only around yes men who tell you everything you want to hear because they all have some, buy-in to being close to you because there are a bunch of people who can never be in that situation before. So then you go out in the real world and like, wait, people are opposite against me and they're going to be upset and they're going to be frustrated? Yes. You're firing people. You're letting people go from their jobs. You're dismantling everything. And not only are you doing it, you're doing it with a group of friends with one is called AKA Big Balls. What are we talking about here? So if you think they're not going to come for you, you need to figure it out. Why don't you go and try to, maybe you should make a sneak profile page, try to be a normal person and go into regular groups and see how people talk. See how regular people talk out there. I just don't even get it. So for President Trump to sit there and say that he's going to say it's domestic terrorism to people of the United States who do anything against, that is insane because we both know, like I said before, there's plenty of different dates, January 6th, school shootings, things that those people don't even get that harsh of domestic terrorism. They don't get that at all. But how dare you go against his friend who's just trying to do the best and selling cars that most of us can't even afford. And did you know that they don't even start in really cold weather, that people are turning them back in? I have a car that's not even a Tesla and it's and the remote start doesn't even want to start in negative temperatures. So could you imagine driving one of these Teslas that doesn't want to start because it's so cold. This is what I've heard, allegedly. Also, I've heard allegedly that it takes up to 45 minutes to charge the car when I can go to the gas station and be done pumping my gas in what? 5 minutes? Less than 5 minutes, depending on how many gallons of a tank you have. My gallon is like, it's a 15-gallon tank. So I'm standing out there less than 3 minutes. But I have to go to a charging station and sit for 45 minutes at a time, and that's worth it? So this is what he's trying to push on America. Now, the car that President Trump got today was a Tesla S model. They start at $72,000 to $85,000 with all the bells and whistles. But he said, listen, I understand that most of you, all of you, cannot afford that. So there's a $35,000 entry-level car. And I know the trucks are like $115,000. This is what we are talking about. This is what our tax dollars are going towards, is we are talking about the sale of Teslas. You have got to be kidding me. So when we take it back to, is Elon Musk taking all the heat? Absolutely. That is the oldest trick in the business book. You set somebody up for that. It never goes back on the CEO. If it does, it's all been mastermind to where they can get out of it. So when the dust settles and Elon Musk has lost most of his money, his stocks are plummeting, nobody wants to deal with him. And President Trump's like, well, I thought, he was going to do better. It's going to be much easier for him. People, don't be fooled by what we're seeing. It's right in front of our eyes. Do not be fooled. He is setting that man up to take the fall, just like he has set everybody else up in his previous administration. Okay? That's what happened. I remember his first administration when everybody was getting fired. It felt like there was a firing every single day. You're fired, you're all fired. That's how he does it. Oh, I'm telling you what, there's never a dull day in this administration, though. But I am going to get those shirts made in the previous administration. The previous administration did it, because that's who did it. Earlier I was talking about Caroline Leavitt. Now I'm talking about how President Trump and Elon Musk's relationship is eventually going to tank, because Elon is starting to feel the pressure. He came in with the chainsaw, like, I'm ripping through everything. Well, everything's going to come rip through you. Have you ever been doxxed? Not in the way of just a regular dox. Like, do you even know what goes on out here in the real world in social media? Have you ever heard, let's just, for example, let's go into the music industry. Do you know of the Beehive? Do you know of the Cardi, the Barbies, the Barbs, the Swifties, all of these groups that will come for a person? You think what you're dealing with is harsh? You haven't seen anything yet. So just sit tight, Mr. Musk. I know you only have 130 days. You've already done just about 45 of them. So you're almost out of here. I suggest when you're done with this, when you've dismantled the entire government, when you've let everybody go, because today you guys are letting go with help of Mrs. McMahon. You're letting go of people from the school board department, the education department, that you just take some time to yourself. Maybe take that time to figure out how to get those astronauts from out of the sky that have been up in space forever. How about you focus on that? That's what you guys need to be focusing on versus how your appearance looks out here in the world. It should all go back to anybody who buys a social media platform. It should show you they're a little insecure because they want everybody to like them, like me. It's all given pick me energy. That's what the kids call it these days. They call it pick me. I have to have my kids tell me, what are these terms? Because I don't even know these terms. I got to take it by the kids. You guys, I'm telling you, put your goggles on. Put your rain suits. It's about to be a shitstorm, and we need to be prepared for it. I thank you so much for tuning in today to your friendly neighborhood AI wife. That's my rant for the day. I'll see you next time. Peace out.